Hello everyone, hope you're well. My name is Jake Norman and I'm the host of the Best in Property podcast. My intro today is, I'm recording this whilst I'm sat outside in Canary Wharf, so you may hear some background noise, but just wanted to introduce my next guest on the podcast, a chap who has been in property for a few years now and has built up his portfolio, is now taking the leap into larger developments, 7 8 figure developments, and has played for Liverpool Football Club. Plays now for Hull City. Really good guy, plant-based, so really had a good conversation about a couple of different topics, really. Talking about the various different ways AF footballers can maximise their earnings and obviously post-career. And fascinating to hear that not enough clubs are promoting property and it's more in the form of promotion for stocks and shares. So my guest today is Kevin Stewart from Hull City FC, and he's on the Best in Property podcast today. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the Best in Property podcast with Jake Notman. The podcast where you get to access the best property leaders around the world. From the biggest developers in the UK to the largest property investors across the globe. We pick the brains and answer the questions you've always wanted to ask. Enjoy.
Kevin, welcome to the Best in Property podcast. How is everything going your side at the moment?
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, everything's good. Back to football, so a lot busier than I have been the last few months. It's good to have time, a lot of time with the kids, a lot of time with the family. So now back to a bit more work, but it's all good. It's all exciting.
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people have, like you said, spent time with the kids, spent more quality time with family. I think similar to yourself, I can imagine sort of football takes up a lot of time. And I think it's been nice. And I've definitely found it myself spending time with family, mum, friends, when we can almost. It has been some positives. But I guess in terms of, briefly spoke off camera in terms of you've been trying to, take advantage in some way, obviously, with the time that you've got available. Talk to us about some of the things that you have been doing. Obviously, we're going to talk about obviously property journey and where it started. But if you obviously quite recently, what sort of things have you been up to? Has it been, like you said, spending time with the kids, or has it been looking at property deals? And just give us an update on that. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I always try to keep it as balanced as possible. So I also spend a lot of time with the kids and also get a lot of time to do work. So especially in the evenings, once I put them to bed, they go to bed about 7. So I've got a few hours at night to really do what I need to do. Yeah, so since lockdown, to be fair, me and my friend have started setting up a deal sourcing company. It's just a way for my friend that really wants to get into property to get into it. I thought he got some really good qualities, so I just thought if he's really motivated to get into it, so I just thought it could be a good thing to help him get into it, and as well he can maybe help me in the long run as well. So we're in the process of setting that up. During the lockdown period as well, I closed a deal on the project we're doing in Birmingham.
Congrats!
Yeah, thank you. It took long to sort out and to get me involved, but we got there. We got there through lockdown, and also I also found a potential BRR deal during lockdown as well, which I spent a lot of time on that deal, just looking into it and doing due diligence into that. So that's probably the main things that I've been into since while being in lockdown.
Good man. I think you definitely kept busy. I think it's I checked out on the Instagram. Obviously saw that deal obviously within Birmingham. Was it 47 studios, wasn't it? Is that the one?
Yeah, 47 studios.
Yeah, it looks like a great site. So I think it's you kept yourself busy, which is what we've all tried to do in some way. I guess in this weird time. But I wanted to take you back, Kevin, obviously with your journey. And I consider and talk about football, but obviously it is the Best in Property podcast. We've got to have a bit of property in it.
I prefer not speaking about football, to be honest.
Well, I'm a United fan, so we're getting there. But we'll talk first about your property journey and I guess where that started. I always fascinated to. I try and get connected with whether it's in some way celebrities or whether it's professional rugby players, whoever it is. I want to understand, I guess, where they started really and what education they got into, because I think yourself, you briefly again just spoke off camera. A lot of footballers, guests, don't know about property and they don't know the options that they have available to them. So
Yeah,
where did it all
definitely.
start for you? And where sort of has it been a journey, and what sort of lessons have you learned along the way?
Do you know, it was a funny one. Well, to be fair, I've always in the back of my mind knew property is a good thing. You know, that's what just people tell you. You know, it's property is solid. Property is a good thing to get into. But that's just, you know what I mean. I just thought any house is just a good house. That's just kind of the idea I had. So I did already before that have 2 buy-to-lets. When I look back at it now, they're actually not great deals. I just kind of got them, like as I said, I just thought, yeah, good houses. Houses are houses is what I kind of thought. But I hadn't had nothing to do with them anyways. My agent like basically done majority of it, so I had no
Sorted out kind of thing.
Yeah, so I didn't even know what went into it or what happened. But then as well, I've always wanted the idea. I've always had the idea of I've always just really wanted to build like generational wealth. Do you know what I mean? Something that lasts long, something that I can pass down to my kids. But I didn't really know what strategy or how I was going to do that. So then it was funny. It was one day I kept on. It was a month where I kept on getting silly fines. I was getting parking fines. I was getting speeding fines. I was getting tax bills, and then I just remember one day in my front of me, I was just like fuming at the amount of just like paid. And I remember just getting like angry at the government for some reason because I was getting fines like left, right, and center. So I was just like, you know what? I need to make my money back. I need to like start learning about tax and somehow find a loophole to just make some of my money back, because I was just like fuming. So I started learning. I went online. I started learning about tax, or typing in stuff about tax, and Robert Kiyosaki came up. So then I started watching some of his videos, and I ordered his book, Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was like quite of a mind blower and an eye opener.
Great book, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's a sort of a foundational book. I think anyone, well, just in business and entrepreneurship, I think, but more so with property, it just gets those principles across at the early stages, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I think it really opens your eyes to how we think, and how much we just are a bit of a slave to money at times. So that's what it did for me. And then I probably realized from then, I was like, okay, Robert Kiyosaki is American, so a lot of what he's talking about is in America. So I tried to find someone like that in the UK. Then I came across Samuel Leeds on YouTube, and then I just like, that's how kind of got me started the most, because I thought he was a really good teacher, and his videos, well, I think they're really good for beginners and amateurs to really understand the basics. So I started from there and just started watching loads of videos. And then, took it from there. Then I just started meeting people, connecting with people, just trying to learn from everyone, just trying to get on phone calls with people just to learn. And then just opportunities came from that. I think that's how I got started.
For sure. I appreciate that journey. I mean, Samuel Leeds is definitely, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think personally, I mean, a lot of people have mixed opinions on Samuel Leeds, but I think in terms of for anyone looking to get into property as a teacher, for that, I mean, opening up your eyes, like I said, being practical in a way to get you on that journey, I think he is great. No matter sort of what people like to say about him. But no, it's interesting. I mean, in terms, obviously, it's funny you say obviously the agent saw that you had 2 properties, you didn't really know whether it was a good property or not. I mean, do you still have those properties?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get rid of them at the minute. So I still got them. I prefer, once I really got educated, I kind of worked out that returns I'm getting. I'm thinking now I'd rather, I could do better things with the money that's tied up in them right now.
Have you just got them on a single let, or do you feel like it's just, I mean, can you get any more rooms out of it to generate more cash flow, or is it just not a good deal, do you think?
No. So one's a flat, so that's not allowed. Service accommodation or anything like that's not allowed. They're both flats. And the other's a flat as well. Just a 2-bedroom. So yeah, it's not possible.
Fair dues. Something which I'm interested in as well, Kevin. I mean, I guess your average player in the Championship or the Premier League, or any sort of, I guess, individuals that you've played with in your career, what does the average player know in terms of property? Again, you mentioned off camera that there is, I guess, some players, I guess, understand a bit about it, but I guess it's not a lot of people do. Why do you think not many professional football players do look at property? I think when you get educated on it, I think you realise how, I guess, beautiful the industry is and what it can do for you in terms of every single month cash flow for the rest of your life, and it goes up in value. I think, like you said, you talked about generational wealth. Why do you think a lot of footballers, I guess, haven't looked into property more, and what do you think they could do to I guess, improve the knowledge on it?
Do you know? I don't know. When I think about myself, I kind of thought to myself, okay, why didn't I think about this before? Why didn't I go in and get educated about it before? And I guess at the time, I think for a lot of players, you're just so focused on football, just like you don't want to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of players put money into stocks, and I think a lot of times that's just because it's easy. You just kind of pay someone to invest for you, and then it's just done. But then again, I guess you can do that with property as well. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm really not too sure because I even think about it. I think they do know property is good, but I think like what I said, where it's just a house is a house. I don't think they know all the strategies involved and the kind of returns you can get. Like I remember telling one player about buying a house and being able to pull your money out, and he like didn't believe it. Like you can't do that. So it's yeah, I'm really not too sure, to be honest. I
Interesting.
can't really give you an answer.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, in terms of obviously, I mean, some of the players, I mean, I'm sure you've played with him across some of the superstars in the world. You just think, imagine some of the, I mean, a couple $100,000 a week, millions a month. Imagine just buying cash HMOs every single month. I mean, if I was on that sort of money, I would just be buying 10, 15, 20 HMOs. I mean, and of course, by probably if you do that for 5, 10 years, I mean, you could have a lot of cash flow, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
It's interesting. I mean, in terms of with the clubs that you're in, obviously you mentioned the stocks and the shares. Is that something that the club will give advice on, or is it something that they bring in advisors on it? I mean, do they bring in any property at all, or is it a case of? I know some clubs have done it before, where they've maybe brought in advisors or they've got people to help the players in some way.
Yeah.
Has that happened in your career? Now, have you seen any property at all? Or has it just been stocks and shares in the last throughout your career?
Yeah, so it's just when I was at Liverpool, I remember they brought in stocks and shares guys a few times. And now when I think back, I think why has a property guy never come in? Because like if people knew about what was possible in property, that I think so many people would do it. Like right now, a lot of people just turn their nose off at property and they think stocks is like the best thing ever. And it's a bit frustrating to hear and see sometimes from other players, because especially a lot of players when they finish. A lot of them, may end up bankrupt and struggle financially. I just think property is a really good way to counter that.
For sure, I think I think I can understand a bit of frustration from your side, because I think once you know about property and you actually realise, I mean, these houses, these assets, whatever type of project it is, they pay me every single month, every single year, the rest of your life if you want to retain them or you want to sell them and make a profit. And when you actually have that, I guess, concept, and I guess as a football player, if doing some of the, I guess, people, the money that they earn, they could like literally buy property each month, refinance, and just become extremely wealthy by the time they finish their careers. And it's just, I guess, you see so many unfortunately do go, I guess, bankrupt, and they have got large overheads and they've not been able to do it. So it's interesting that hopefully things can change. I think property, I think a lot of players, but like I said, I think if they're coming into a club and you're there for a few years and you earn X amount of money, I think it's I guess why wouldn't you?
I just think maybe they're not exposed to it. I mean, I wouldn't, unless I exposed myself to it, I would have still not known anything about it. I would have still just been happy with the two that I had, thinking they were good investments. So I just think it's just probably the exposure, and I think that's why when I start my journey and I really start doing things, I'm going to document everything and try and give as much information on the deal as possible, so they can kind of see what I'm doing and what's possible and what you can do. Like if they see me doing it to someone they know, then they'll feel like they can just do the same thing as well. So yeah, hopefully I can, expose it to a few of them.
For sure. Like I said, I think it pays you for the rest of your life. I think if people can do it, it's you mentioned very early on, it's generational wealth, isn't it? And I think sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So unless you do know about property, then I guess you're not really going to consider it as a viable option. But I want to talk about obviously the recent sort of partnership and deal that you got closed, I believe, in Birmingham, which looks like a great site, by the way. And I believe it's 47 studios. How did that sort of deal all come about? I mean, if you can talk obviously a bit more about the project itself, that'd be great. But yeah, you mentioned obviously it's obviously took a little while to get the deal over the line. Where do you sit within that deal as you as an individual? And it'd be great to understand the deal in more context.
It's just complete 50-50. We own it 50-50. It came about. So Anthony already had the deal. So when I got into property, before that, I was always really interested in big buildings. Like I was really fond of big buildings. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. Just like residential buildings. Never really thought about student accommodation, but I'm just really interested in I mean, just really big units and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
units. So then I came across Anthony, and that's what he did. He was doing big buildings, and he's got a like hashtag says big deals only, which I like just big things. That whenever I do something, I always want to try to take it to the max.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, when I first started in property, I was like looking at single let houses and smaller houses, and I was just kind of just thinking I probably prefer to just go bigger. And then so I came across him. So then I reached out to him, and then we had a little chat over the phone. And then from there, he was just kind of just giving me advice here and there. I was calling him up, asking him questions. So then I actually met him, and he showed me around a few of his sites just to show me like what he's doing. I had no intention of getting involved or anything like that. And then not maybe a few months after, I called him just to check over a deal that I was thinking about doing. And then he said, "Oh, by the way, I've got an opportunity for you to get in this deal if you're interested." And I was like, "Yeah, no, 100%." So I just thought at that time, it's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to get involved in the big deals, and I can do it with someone experienced as well. So I don't have to have the knowledge right now, and I can just learn it as we go along. So hopefully be in a position where I can maybe do that for someone else. I can have a deal and bring them into it and show them how to do it, as well as making the money as well. So yeah, that's how it came about.
For sure. I mean, it looks like a great project. I mean, in terms of, are you looking at other deals? Have you got other deals in the pipeline? Obviously, you mentioned you've got obviously, I guess, a few different assets in the portfolio right now. But are you looking obviously 47 studios? Are you looking at? Have you got anything in the horizon? I mean, where that particular scheme? Where is it up to? If you don't mind me asking, has it got planning so far? Are you about to go on site? Where's that scheme up to?
Yeah, no, so we're looking to go. We're in the stage of designing.
Okay, great.
But we're almost finished. So we're looking to get on site in August.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. Hopefully, yeah, I think for time we're good. We got all the things we need to get started. There's a phase 2 to it as well. That's literally next door to it. That's currently in planning. So we've been talking about that. So that's, he's got quite a few other deals. To be fair, he's got quite a few. So looking to start this one and then hopefully get involved in phase 2 as well.
Awesome. And in terms of, obviously, I guess if you were to give advice to some fellow players or people that you've played with in the past, and obviously you'd obviously advise on property and obviously what it can do for players, but would you advise players to get into developments like what you're doing as quickly as possible? Because obviously, as you know, that size of scheme, I'm sure there's obviously much larger profits available and obviously bigger figures. Is it a case of you'd advise them to build up a portfolio, get, I guess, a foundational bit of cash flow coming in, and then go to development? So would you sort of advise them, sort of look, guys, there's an opportunity here to learn the industry, learn about obviously what needs to be done, and go straight into doing the big sites, which I guess, of course, come with a bigger risk, but a much bigger profits?
I think it depends on what your goals are and like your tolerance for risk as well. Mm-hmm. So my goals are I really want to grow as big as possible. I want to have as much wealth as possible, and so I'm happy to take the risk on it. And for me, I'm maybe a bit different to other people. If I lose money, I won't be kicking myself. I'll be like, okay, I just have to try and make it back. I wouldn't be so down about it. I think maybe someone else could be a little bit different. So I would always just say depends on your goals, depends on your tolerance for risk. A lot of players maybe just don't want to, or people just don't want to go that big. They just want to have a few houses in their portfolio to pay them a certain amount a month, and they're happy with that. Mm-hmm. So I would say it depends on their goals, man, and what they're looking to do. Because I spoke to a few players, and I asked them, like, if I had this deal, would you want to get involved, like a big deal? And they were like, no, I'm not really interested in going into it like that. But I would be happy to do a few small houses just to give me a certain amount a month, and just cover my bills, basically, for example. So yeah, it depends on their goals, I would say.
For sure. And I mean, property is, I guess, yourself more than anyone. It's a changing market all the time. I think especially with yourself getting into developments now, with bill costs are changing. You've got to make sure that you're not paying over the odds for a certain doing contracts. You've got to all these things you've got to consider with the market. I guess with Brexit going on, prices changing. Self education is, and so doing personal development is very important. And I guess creating wealth, like you said. What do you do in terms of to keep on top of your property stuff? Is it, do you read a lot of, I guess, sort of fundamental newspapers on the markets? Is it a case of you go to the courses with Samuel Leeds? How do you keep on top of things? And I guess, again, what advice would you give to players if they wanted to get started into learning about property in the routine?
I mean, at first, I was just like reading every book and watching every video like that was on the internet, basically. So I probably watched like every Samuel Leeds video almost. And a few other guys that I liked as well. Anthony does some videos as well, so I like watched all of those. But for me, I mean, it depends on the person and how they think they learn best. For me, I learn best from other people firstly, and just when I do things. Like I read a lot of books. At the beginning, I read a lot of books, and I learned a lot. But then when I started doing things, there were so many things that the books didn't have in them. Just the small things, the boring stuff, like the solicited stuff, and just little tiny things that the book probably just doesn't evolve, because if they evolved everything, it would just be like the biggest book ever. So yeah, my best way is to speak to a lot of people. So I have a lot of people now in property that I could just call and ask them questions, different people in different fields and different strategies of property, just from connecting and networking. So any question I get, there's probably someone that I could call that will know the answer. So that's how I learn the best, to just learn from other people and just start and just do a project and learn on the way.
Exactly. No, I think that's personally how I've learned as well. I mean, I wasn't the smartest kid at school. I've not really, property is something that you obviously don't get taught at school. It wasn't something business-wise, again, I think, but you have those conversations with the professionals, whether it's the QS, whether it's the architect, the conference calls with the funders. All these conversations is, I guess, getting practical is where you really learn, isn't it? I think the books will definitely build that foundational knowledge, but having that conversation and trying to negotiate, I guess, the right tender price or whatever it is important. I mean, something that, which I wanted to ask Kevin. I mean, if a player came to you now, for example, who may have done well at the career, may have, say, £1 million or £500,000 they wanted to spend, what strategy would you put in front of them right now in terms of, would it be HMOs, would it be BRR, or would it be going straight into them, like I said before? What if you had that sort of level of money from a player that wanted to sort of invest with you, what key strategies would you want to go look at straight away?
$1 million? Did you say $1 million?
We'll call it $1 million.
Like again, I think I'd have to ask the question of what your intentions are and what you're looking to do. You're trying to make the most money long term. You're trying to make quick cash flow. So I think it would depend. But if we're going off just in general, I would probably do a bit of a mix. I'll have some safe investments, like for like a HMO, just buying a HMO and getting some good cash flow. Maybe some small buy refurbished deals. But yeah, I'll definitely say a big chunk of that will go into a development deal with a developer that can, that's got a track record, that's done them before, or someone that's just got good knowledge, they've got a good team around them. Just getting in one of their deals. But definitely a mixture. I wouldn't just, million all into one deal. Definitely some safe ones, and then some higher risk ones like development deals.
For sure, definitely. I think that's what personally I would look at it as well. I think you've definitely got to have that mix. You've got to have that short-term cash flow. And of course, HMOs do that very well. And I think if you have that longer term, a bit of development in there as well, where the bigger profit and the bigger paydays are, I think it's a win-win. I want to talk slightly about football, of course, as of course, obviously you are in the professional footballer. How is obviously getting back to playing now and getting back to obviously training, I believe, how is that going on at the moment? Obviously, you read the media, and obviously there's one club saying this, one club saying that. What's it like for the club that you play for now? And I guess when are you looking to get fully back to it?
No, it's good, man, and it's kind of almost back to normal now. I mean, it's a bit strange when you're sitting together and they tell you to social distance, but then like 10 minutes ago you was grappling each other on the pitch. It's a bit strange. Also, we're getting tested twice a week, which is like, I don't know if you've done the test before, but it's not very nice.
No, I've seen a few ones on Facebook or Instagram with the long needle or whatever. Not long needle, but the long fob thing, whatever it is.
Up the nose.
Yeah, I've seen those
You know,
ones.
I saw one that was very exaggerated. It actually wasn't like that. It's actually not like that. It's just like it's just to the
crazy.
back of the throat for like 10 seconds, and then it goes up your nose.
Well, I've seen some picture of one. It was literally like I don't know, like an earbud thing, whatever you put in your ears, and it
Yeah.
literally looked about 3 of those put together, going the whole way into your nose. I was like,
I know. Yeah, I know.
That doesn't look great.
I know what video you're talking about because I saw it as well, but that's not it.
Well, thank
Well, that's
God,
not. Yeah, that's that's not what we're doing, anyways. So yeah, no, it's pretty much normal now. I mean, the next 2 months it will be crazy because the amount of games we're squeezing in 2 months is bonkers, man. So I do think there's going to be a lot of injuries. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
And in terms, obviously, we're getting back. Obviously, you mentioned it's going to be sort of full on. Really, you're going to put. How are you going to sort of structure that with the property? You're going to still try and keep doing what you do now. You're going to have to sort of take it, put it on. I guess not the back burner, but you're going to sort of have to commit less time. What's it going to look like, and when you obviously are playing all these games and sort of day-to-day routine?
No, it'll be fine. I mean, if I just kind of focus on the deals I'm doing at the minute, rather than looking into other things, it'll be fine. So like right now, I've still got time to just look on Rightmove for deals where I probably just wouldn't have that, but I still have time to do what I'm doing already. So yeah, no, not too much will change in terms of that because I'll still have a lot of time at home. I'll still be traveling a lot to away games, spending nights in hotels. So you know what I mean, I'll get a lot of time there. Yeah, so I'll be able to balance it quite well.
Good man. I have to do lots of stretching, lots of foam rolling. With all
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Do you know what? So I was doing so much property in lockdown. Well, we was training as well, so I was doing so much. So I was sat at my desk for so long, every day, and I'm someone that stretches like a lot, but I kind of stopped a little bit. I started getting a little bit not lazy, but I was doing so much property stuff at night, in the morning. So I was kind of using that time where I used to foam roll to do property things, and then I ended up killing my back. So my back like literally seized up in the session. I actually couldn't move for like 2 weeks. So I was like,
oh, no.
So I said I'll never do that again. I'll never prioritize property as much as that over football again.
Yeah, it's I know I've something foam roll is, I guess sometimes I quite look forward to it, but sometimes most of the time it gets quite boring in many ways. So it's something that we all have to do. Even me, when I try and go to the gym, if I don't do it, I'm just sore for days. And I can't, even if it's a physical pain or physical, like I still can't perform. So I just don't feel like in like a business situation. When you look at site or whatever it is, you just can't. You got to keep on top of your health, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
But Kevin, I appreciate all your answers today. I appreciate obviously the value that you've given, because I'm sure whether it's a player, whether it's an audience member, they've obviously learned a lot in terms of what it's like from a footballer's mentality in terms of property and your journey. I always round off the podcast with a tradition, which is sort of if you have your favourite hot drink, which would be a sort of coffee or herbal tea, and one quote that you live by. Obviously, you seem like an individual that obviously wants to, has big aspirations. And in terms of sort of quotes, what is one, if you were to give a quote to a player in terms of advice, what would that be? And I guess what coffee would that be?
You put me on the spot there, man. Quote. The hot drink's easy. It'll be a matcha. I don't know if you heard of matcha.
Matcha, the green one.
Yeah, matcha with agave in it. That's what I'm drinking now.
I've had matcha latte, I think.
It's super healthy, man. It's really good for you.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's quite it's quite nice actually. It was very not gardeny. It tasted like, but it was quite nice actually. I quite like it. Quite into health.
By itself, it's not great. You got to put a bit of sweetener in it. I put agave in it. Makes it a little bit sweeter. Makes it really nice.
Nice.
Quote. Depends what my quote would be.
And if you can't think of a quote on the spot, I mean, what's in terms of, I guess, something that you would, advice-wise, is it you got to work as hard as you can? Is it, I guess, it could be anything with players, is it dealing with the money more, or if there is.
Are we talking in general, or are we just talking live?
Yeah, just
talking live, or like proper in business, or live.
We're talking live. Just you can go as cheesy as you want. We've had some cheesy ones. So, but just a quote that I guess resonates with you as an individual. I guess something that if someone was to ask you a quote, what would that be?
I would say, what I really push for myself is is live the life that you want to live, not what others want you to live. I really like that mentality, because I think a lot of people do that now, especially with like social media that comes out. A lot of people, well, no, I guess it's always been like that, but the amount of people I see that are afraid to do a certain thing because of how others are going to perceive them, or others are going to comment. Like, for example, me putting up property things on my Instagram and things about veganism on my Instagram. A lot of players, I feel like, and a lot of people, not just players, but they don't like putting out what they're really interested in, because they kind of just think people are just going to be like, "Oh, you're a footballer, man. Like, just post football." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's definitely one thing I'd say is,
It's a great point. I think that's why I wanted to get. That's why I wanted to get you on, because it's something which I tried the plant-based diet. I'm actually pescatarian, but I've not actually, other than fish, I've not eaten meat since October. Where I was on the way back from Singapore actually, and I've not. Watched the Game Changers, as I think a few people did, and a few other documentaries. I think I looked at plant-based and obviously veganism because, well, from the scientific point of view, obviously with the animals, I won't delve into that too much, but it's quite interesting. When I came into your profile, obviously I wanted to get you on for the property reasons, but I saw the plant-based. So yeah, I think I guess, like you said, it's being true to yourself and putting the stuff out that you believe in, not what others believe in. I guess it's
you got to go the full way, man.
Well, I'm trying. I'm
no,
trying.
You're not eating dairy, no?
No, honestly, I've done.
Oh, nice.
I've not had normal milk or anything like that since October. So
yeah.
I do eat fish, but I see it as like a treat. I mean, like a really nice, I guess, green dish with like sea bass or something like that. I try and make it. I wouldn't just have like just a standard fish dish. It's something really nice to make it worthwhile, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I feel 10 times better just in terms of energy levels, and it's interesting. Like I said, I always just, like I said, probably get people to see if they want to watch Game Changers. A few have changed, but I think it's I think as more science comes out over the years, I think more and more people will realise just, I guess, what is actually going on, and the health benefits that they can receive. So but no, again, Kevin, I appreciate your time today. It's been
thanks for having me, man. Cheers.
And let's keep in communication, and that's the Best in Property podcast with Kevin Stewart.
Definitely. Thank you.